Welcome to the presentation of the transmit media of the network. And as we know, in the OSI reference model, there are 7 layers. And at the bottom, it's the physical layer. In the network media that we discussed in this chapter, just located in the physical layer. Okay. And the objective of this chapter, first is to list the network medias nowadays widely used in the network, and then explain the mechanisms of the network device, how to use the network media. Okay, now we just look into the topology. And this is the most simple network, only contains 2 devices and 1 lines to connect these 2 devices together. And then the lines in this picture, just the network media. And in nowadays enterprise network, there are different type of network medias, such as the twist pair cables, coaxial cables, optical fibers, and in our VLAN, we just use the radio waves. Okay, and now this is a coaxial cable. Okay, we can see in this picture, there are 2 types of cables. Okay, these cables, one is called 10^2, and another is called 10^5. And the 10^2 have a small diameter, and the 10^5 have a bigger diameter. So the 10^2 we usually call the thin axial, and the 10^5 we also call the thick coaxial. And the thin coaxial can extend a small distance. That's 185 meters longer, and about the 200 meters. And the 10^5 can extend a longer distance. That's 500 meters. Okay, and these 2 coaxial cables can connect by different connectors. The thin coaxial use the BNC, and the 10^5 use the type N connectors. Okay, and the coaxial cables nowadays is seldom used. It's widely used, I think about 20 or 30 years ago. Okay, because the coaxial cable only supports 10 megabps. Yeah, the 10^2. In the 10^2, the 10 means 10 mega. Okay, this is 10 megabps. Of course, nowadays in our enterprise, they are seldom use 10 megabps Ethernet. Okay. Yeah. Then we go to the twist pair cable. Okay. Twist pair cable nowadays is widely used, and we can see in the twist pair cable, there's 8 lines, and each 2 of them is twisted together. Okay, and the twist pair, there's 2 types. One is called STP, and another is called UTP. The STP means shielded, and the UTP means unshielded. The shielded cable is covered by a aluminum foil. Okay, and then is more robust to the magnetic interference. Okay, and the twist pair have different standard. Usually, we have category 3, category 4, and category 5. Each category means different qualities to carry signals. And we can see that's the 10 base, that means the 10 megabps signals. 10 megabps signals can carry on cat 3. Okay, and 100 megabps can carry on cut 5. In 1,000, that's the 1 gigabps can carry it on category 5E. Okay, we can see that's the bigger number. That means higher quality. Okay, and each can have the same distance extended. We can extend the 100 meters of the twist pairs. In the twist pair, use a connector we called RJ45. Okay. Use this connector to connect to the PCs, to the switch, and to any device connected to the network. Okay. And this is the twist pair. And another is the fiber, the optical fiber. And nowadays, the fiber is also widely used. And the optical fiber can support higher speed than twist pair. We can support, of course, 100 or 1 giga. And nowadays, there's 10 giga, 40 giga, okay, and 100 giga. Okay, this speed can all supported by the optical fibers. In optical fiber, there's 2 types. One type is multi-mode, and another type is a single mode. In the single mode and multi-mode, there's difference of the optic carried in these fibers. And the single mode can carry the optical signals to a more far distance, okay, a longer distance. And we can see the single fiber can carry about 2 kilometers, and the multi-mode can only carry several hundred meters distance. And the optical fiber, there's many connector types. This we called SC connector. This is a big square connectors. And this we called LC connectors. This is a small square connectors. And these 2 types, okay, we called FC connectors. Of course, there are still others such as ST connectors. Okay. This is the fiber optic. And then the serial connectors, serial lines. And the serial, I think it's has a long history. It's introduced about 50 years ago. And the speed of the serial lines is low, and the distance is short. And the most well-known standard for the serial is RS-232. Okay, that's RS-232. And nowadays, the serial lines is seldom used, but in some scenario, we still use this, such as the console line. The console line still use the serial line. Okay, and the serial line did not define. Does not define the physical connectors. So nowadays, widely used connector for serial line, there's DB9 or DB25. Okay, this is widely used. And this connector is the DB25. Okay, and this connector is the V.35. Okay, and nowadays, later, the EIA introduced other standards such as RS-422. Okay, the speed and the distance of this standard is increased, but nowadays still not widely used. Nowadays, I think more widely used serial lines, just the USB, okay? Universal serial bus, okay? Okay, this is nowadays is most widely used, okay? And then signaling encoding in the media. As we know, when the PCs sending the signal in the line, the data must be encoded. I think the most simple encoding just use the voltage. The high voltage means 1, or the low voltage means 0. Okay, this is the most simple. And but there are some shortcomings. Okay, for example, if there's a series of ones, then it's a high voltage. Okay, and then because the clocking of the sender and of the receiver is not, I think there's a deviation. Okay, that's not exactly the same. So if there's a series of ones, and then, for example, the number of the ones, for example, sending 20 ones, and then when the counting of the receiver, maybe make a mistake. For example, counting the 21 ones, so there's a mistake. So there are some improvements of this encoding system. The most important is included the clock signals into this encoding. And then there's a famous encoding mechanism we called Manchester encoding. Okay, Manchester encoding. And the Manchester encoding just integrates the clock signals into the informations, into the data that's sending from the sending part to the receiving part. Okay, and of course there are still other encoding mechanisms. Okay, such as NZRI. Okay, and 4B/5B and so on. Okay, and then the network device, how to use the media. Okay, in our LAN, we usually use a shared media, okay, such as Ethernet. Then all the device is connected to a shared media. Because this media is shared, so when two devices sending the signals at the same time, then these two signals collision, okay, collision. And then the receiver cannot hear the signals clearly. So in this domain, that's only one device can sending out signals at one time. Okay, this we call collision domains. In the collision domains, we must have a mechanism to make sure at one time only one device can send the signals. This mechanism we called CSNA and then CD. Okay, of course this is an abbreviation. The CS means carrier sense. MA means multi-access. That means there's many devices can connect to one media. Okay, that's a multi-access. And then the CD, that's the collision detect. The carrier sense means that when the device wants to sending data to the media, then first should to sense the carrier, sense the media. If there's other device sending, if other device is sending, then hold. If other device, no other device is sending, then I can send out. Okay, of course, this is the avoidance of the collision, but this cannot make sure no collision will happen because if the two devices want to sending out and then carrier sends and no one is sending, then they send the data at the same time, then the collision still happened. So the device should detect if the collision is happened. If the collision is happened, then they will hold back, and then wait a landing time, and then sending again. Okay, this is a mechanism we call the CSMA CD. Okay, and then the duoplex mode. Okay, in this network, the two devices and they are connected by one line. Then, of course, the data must be sending and receiving from each other. Okay, but then there are two modes. First is the half duoplex. Half duoplex means only one side can sending data at one time. Yeah, I can sending and I can receive, but when the other part is sending, I must hold. Okay, and then when the other side is finished sending, then I can begin to sending data to the other side. Okay, this is the half duoplex. Then another mode is the full duoplex. The full duoplex means both sides can sending out the data at the same time. Okay, when the other side is sending, I can still sending out the data. That's the full duoplex. No collision will happen in a full duoplex media. Okay, and then we go to the end. Of course, there's three questions. Okay, first, what media can be used by gigabit Ethernet? Okay, as we have listed, can coaxial cable support? No, coaxial cable can only support 10 mega. Okay, that's a 1 mega. We can use the twist pair. Of course, twist pair have different qualities. To supporting the gigabit BPS, okay, we must use the Cat 5e. That's the higher than Cat 5e. Okay, of course, there's a Cat 6. Okay, category 6. Okay, and of course, the fiber, both the single mode fiber and the multi-mode fiber. Okay, and any other? Okay, just this. Okay, what is the collision domain? The collision domain means a network segment. That's in this segment, only one PC, only one device can sending out at one time. If more than one, that's if two or more than two devices sending data at the same time, then the collision will happen. That's the signals will be destroyed. Okay, this is the collision domain. And what is the purpose of the CSMA-CD? The CSMA-CD is to provide a mechanism for device in a collision domain how to use the network media. Okay. This is the end of this chapter. Thanks for you attending my presentation. Goodbye.